another reason not to miss it. Matthew Berry's big-time Thursday ride or die reveal. Berry, the people are clamoring for this. We're going to get into all the Twitter video suggestions in a second. Are you feeling the heat right now? Have you decided yet?
I literally have not decided yet. I've narrowed my list. But I literally have not decided. Literally in 13 minutes, I have to go to a production meeting where they're going to ask me, and I'm going to have to be like, I don't know exactly yet still. I'm still crunching the numbers, workshopping it, going to R&D, focus group testing it. But I absolutely feel the pressure. Jalen Hurts worked out even better than I could ever have thought of. When my very first thing that I ever did for NBC Sports, I went on the air and I said that I thought Jalen Hurts, who Philadelphia sports fans were calling for, saying like he's not a franchise quarterback and why didn't the Eagles draft a guy last year? And I went on air and I said, I think this guy could make a Josh Allen-like ascension this year, that I think he could be Josh Allen. And then he went on and did it. That's hard to top. I got to be honest with you. Ride or Die has been pretty good. Austin Eckler 2 years before that. Kareem Hunt's rookie year. Thanks for not mentioning Daniel Jones. The 1 year I had him, that wasn't a good call. But I was a little early on Daniel Jones. He proved me right last year, but just not the year I called it. But yes, generally speaking, the Ride or Die, Josh Jacobs rookie year, that worked out really well as well. So generally speaking, it's been my Ride or Die has worked out pretty well. So definitely I feel the pressure.
Well, there is a lot of interest in this because last night on Instagram I posted a story of me and my wife out for dinner, and I had like 7 randoms message me off of it about who Matthew Berry's Ride or Die was going to be. It's like, this is ridiculous. A lot of interest in the reveal.
There is a lot of interest, and the suggestions are piling in. Our friend Roto Pat is where we will start. He has a pretty interesting suggestion for you, Matthew Berry. Let's take a look.
Matthew, I know people are always asking you who you are riding with, who you are perhaps even dying with in fantasy football. And I'm just here to make the case that to avoid that morbid fate in 2023, the answer is Isaiah Pacheco. Some people may hear Pacheco's name and think RB recovering from 2 surgeries. I think grossly undervalued RB2. In fact, one who's not even going as an RB2 in summer fantasy drafts, which I think is insane for the lead back in the league's best offense. One that cannot possibly pass as much in the red zone again in 2023. Patrick Mahomes, do not accept this challenge. Always riding, never dying with Isaiah Pacheco.
It's a bolder one there, Barry. Maybe the boldest suggestion I've heard for your Ride or Die.
Look, when my love-hate list comes out later this year, I think Pacheco will be on it. I think people don't realize just how much work he got over the second half of the season. Week 10 on, he was a top 5 running back in terms of rushing yards in the NFL. But you've still got Jerick McKinnon there, right? And you've still got, there's still going to be like 3 touchdowns where like he shovel passes to Noah Gray. And like, I love the call, but yeah, it's not going to be Isaiah Pacheco. I don't want to ruin anything, but it's not going to be Isaiah Pacheco.
I think the issue there, to your point, Matthew, like Patrick Mahomes the past 2 years has thrown the ball 658 times and 648 times. So it's difficult for Pacheco to really, to be a top 5 running back in fantasy when there's just so much passing volume and McKinnon.
And McKinnon's been great. That's the other thing. Exactly. I don't think McKinnon has all the 9 receiving touchdowns again, but McKinnon will be involved in this offense.
All right, let's hear from frequent contributor to the show, Lawrence Jackson, on his suggestion.
Matthew Berry, my boy, let's keep it 100 right here. Your fantasy ride or die for 2023 shouldn't be no one other than Lamar Jackson. He don't want an MVP with what he had. Look what he got now. His best receiving core ever. He got Todd Monken running the offense, Justin Fields and Anthony Richardson, and even Cooper Kupp is a nice pick, and I'll ride with you on them too. But the smash play right here is Lamar Jackson, dog. It ain't no questions asked. He could go for 4,500 and 1,000, and you know that. Say trust.
Good sales pitch there.
I think Lawrence took his shirt off to just try and get under the 30-second time limit that we were given as part of that. Just remove the shirt, gives you a little bit more wiggle room there. Lawrence loves Lamar Jackson. You love Lamar Jackson.
I do.
We all love Lamar Jackson. But what do you think, Matthew? Is he in the mix?
He's certainly in the mix. I mean, the fact is a little bit too obvious, but I like your call, Jay, of saying that I think Lamar Jackson has the year that everyone thinks Justin Fields is going to have. Can we send Lawrence like a fantasy football happy hour T-shirt or something? Like, What's he like? You couldn't have put on a shirt for the video, Lawrence. What are we doing here? Anyway, but I like the call. I'm excited about Monken's offense. Connor, I know you are as well. Again, a healthy Bateman, Zay Flowers, we all like coming out of college. They already have Andrews there, getting a healthy Beckham on the team as well. Could be a very, very special year for Lamar Jackson.
This next one, a dynasty darling already. Let's hear from Denny Carter on his choice.
Matthew, it's your buddy Denny here, asking you to strongly consider Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson as your ride-or-die player for 2023. We all know that mobile, dual-threat quarterbacks are living, breathing cheat codes in fantasy football. We saw that last year with a guy I believe you picked as your ride-or-die, Jalen Hurts. Now, Hurts' former coach, Shane Steichen, is creating an offense around Anthony Richardson's rushing ability and his downfield throwing prowess. It all adds up to elite fantasy upside. Go with Anthony Richardson as your ride or die. You won't be sorry.
Very a rookie quarterback in the fold, an intriguing one at that.
That it is. That'd be a gutty call, but you mentioned Shane Steichen, and you think about Jalen Hurts, who in the 2 years that he played under Shane in Philadelphia, on a points per game basis, Jalen Hurts was the second best quarterback in fantasy. We know about how important dual threat quarterbacks are in fantasy, and so if the downfield passing comes for Richardson, because we know the rushing's going to be there, and now who knows what happens with this Jonathan Taylor situation, the entire offense could be on Richardson's shoulders, which may not be great for the Colts, but certainly would be good for fantasy. It would be a bold call, but it's an interesting one. I appreciate the thought, Denny.
And our last video suggestion comes from Kyle Dvorak, with this one bringing us a little bit back down to earth and normalcy here from Kyle.
Hey, Matthew Barry. Can I call you Barry? Well, Barry, I hear you're looking for a new ride or die this year, and I think I've got just the thing for you on the lot. Right here, we've got a lightly used 2023 Tony Pollard. Last year, the 2022 Tony Pollard put up 12 tutters. I'm thinking it's only going to run you maybe a second-round pick. Look at you. You got second-round picks falling out of your pocket. So, hey, let me put you in a 2023 Tony Pollard for your ride or die.
Kyle pulled over on the side of the road for this, Barry.
And also said the word tutters.
Tutters.
Yeah, I thought it was tutties.
Tutties.
Yeah.
Tutties.
Yeah.
Tutters.
Yeah, tutters I hadn't heard before. I didn't know if we were allowed
That's a
to
form
say
of potato.
tutters.
Fried
Tutters on air. Yeah, exactly.
Tony
There's a lot of uses for the word tutters that aren't related to football. I'll say this. Look, the case for Pollard is easy, right? Last year from weeks 8 through 16, he was the second best running back in fantasy in his career. He's had 13 games where he's seen at least 15 touches. And in those games, he averaged 19.6 fantasy points per game. That would have been the third best running back in fantasy last year. The case against Pollard, 2. Do the Cowboys sign a veteran? Does Ezekiel Elliott come back or somebody else? And 2, his head coach is Mike McCarthy. How much trust can we put in Mike McCarthy? I will say this, though. It is worth noting. Last year, on the cover of the Roto World Fantasy Football Draft Guide was Jalen Hurts. He was my ride or die. That worked out. This year, the cover boy for the Roto World Fantasy Football magazine is, in fact, Tony Pollard. So, might have to go back to the karma. Anyway, I'm thinking about it. Pollard's in the mix for sure.
For Pollard. My guy that I was selling you on, Matthew, was Justin Herbert, and the quick pitch there was he was QB2 in 2021. Last year, he's dealing with a ton of injuries, both to himself and then to Rashawn Slater on the offensive line, to Keenan Allen and Mike Williams at receiver. All those guys are back. Quentin Johnston is in there as well. Kellen Moore as well, I think, will add some diversity to that offense. They'll have more downfield threat. I think that Herbert can go for 5,000 yards passing, which he's already done in his career. He did that in 2021. He could have 40 passing touchdowns. And I think as well, he's going to add more of an element on the ground this year and get back to that with more health.
Yeah, I agree with everything Jay said on one hand, but on the negative side against Herbert, I'd have to agree with Jay. And he'd be very smug about it if I ended up choosing Herbert as my ride or die and take full credit for it. I wouldn't get all the credit.
Yeah,
I need it to be about me, and I need all the glory to me. So, I don't know. I have to figure this one out. That one's tricky.
Mine for you, Barry, was Bijan Robinson, but it feels like he's starting to trend towards too obvious as we look at our betting odds for the Happy Ride or Die Day from Patrick Maynard 3, who set the odds who Barry is going to pick. Bijan is now the betting favorite at -110. Jahmyr Gibbs, +140. Tony Pollard, who was mentioned by Kyle, +170. Justin Fields, not suggested by anyone. Maybe too obvious now, Fields, +200. And here's the one off the board. You know Jay loves the long shots. Brandon Ayuk at +500, Jay.
I wouldn't touch that. I wouldn't touch Brandon Ayuk at +500. Maybe 400 to 1. But I don't think Barry's going to be riding or dying with him. But looking forward to seeing who you choose tonight, Barry, as are the 7 randoms who commented on my Instagram story.
It's tomorrow night, just to be clear. But the other thing, what I will say, Jay, is I love that tweet. I will say that I have narrowed my list, and 3 of my finalists are on that list, the odds list. 3 of my finalists are. So that was a pretty good list by whoever put that together by the odds. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and RotoWorld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from RotoWorld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.